Grassroots segment is here, and we're going to start with a couple shout outs. Big shout out to the Southern Amateur League at Glemnet SAL on Twitter and www.southernamateurleague.co.uk. The league that Ibis calls home. But as well, there was also, they are the SAL 1907 on Facebook as well. And a big shout out to AFA, Amateur FA, the Amateur Football Alliance at Amateur FA on Twitter and www.amateur-fa.com. The reason why we shout those two out is because we feature an AFA/SAL team, and a couple of our Pitch Talk Meets installments feature Mr. Andrew Copeland, who is a Glemnet SAL and Amateur Football Alliance representative. So it's one of them was big shouts. Thank you, Mr. Copeland, for your Pitch Talk Meets interviews. Very enlightening, actually. And also, big shouts, because the first team we usually feature on the grassroots segment is Ibis Football Club. So big shout to Ibis, full-time Ibis FC legend, Mr. Rob Lusher, the man who loves the C word. We heard it again this week. But it's one of them ones, I'll leave that one alone. But it was one of them ones where his Pitch Talk Meets, Rob Lusher's Pitch Talk Meets, was actually brilliant. Former Ibis FC chairman, Rob Lusher. Big shouts actually to a few of the powers that be at Ibis. Big shout out to Stephen Bone, aka Boney, our treasurer. Big shouts to Ollie Roberts, the Threes captain, Ollie Wooden, the Twos captain, Ben Pierre, the temporary Ones captain, and Mr. Tristan Popel, the chairman of the club, and so many others as well. Will Hainsworth, Jordan Mills, Pete Snell, so many of my other teammates as well. Barry Clark, Gideon Barnett. Big shout outs. But you know what? Ibis Football Club at gmail.com. IBIS Football Club at gmail.com is where you need to email for more information. We are on the lookout for players, and we are in need of players, especially goalkeepers as well. But facebook.com/ibis.fc is the Facebook page, and also twitter.com/ibis_football at ibis_football on Twitter, and ibisfc.co.uk is the official website. Big shout out to JT, aka John Timmins, who runs the website. And you know, training is every Wednesday 7:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. and match days are Saturdays anywhere within the M25. But results from the 30th of November 2013, HSBC 1, Ibis 1's 0. The Ibis 2s drew 2-2 with Wearside Rangers. Patricio Baptista and James Soy getting the Ibis goals. The Ibis 3s won 3-2 against HSBC. Ben Shaw, Phil Stevens and Scott Fanning scoring for Ibis. And the Old Actonians 4, Ibis 4's 0. And you know what, yeah? I'm actually going to hand this one over this week because I am not doing a match report this week. G-Man, it is.
Yo.
The floor is yours.
As Liam said, Old Actonians 4, Ibis 0. And let me just run through the team for this week. So we had myself, who was nominated myself, going to go back in goal. Liam was back in his rightful position of left back. Carl Bolton and Rob Lusher partnered up once again as centre backs. Carl Buffery dropped from the twos, Liam?
Yeah, helping us out this week, yeah.
Yeah, help us out this week as right back. I think we had Barry Clark, Ash Farrell, Callum Scott, and Christian
Frixu, yeah. We had
sorry. Apologies, Christian.
We had Callum at left back as well. No, not Callum at left back. Callum at left mid. That was quite
left mid. Yeah. So we had Baz Clark and Ash in the central midfield of the engine room, and then Callum and Christian on either side of the wing. Like you said, Callum on the left and Christian on the right. And up front we had Justin, who was returning. Haven't seen him around for a while. And Andrew, a mate of Liam's and, new mate of mine, I guess. up front for his debut.
Yeah, him alongside JJ, Justin James. It's one of them ones. Right? Big shout out to Andrew Williams, actually. Big shout, man. And a big shout out to a good friend of mine, Sherelle Wedderburn. So Andrew is Sherelle's boyfriend, who happens to be a Man United fan. So it's one of them ones I thought I'd mention. I don't know why I'm speaking in soundbites. So I'm kind of before I mentioned. Jokes.
And as you probably can tell, we had a bare 11 this week. But let me just get straight into it. And apologies if I say the wrong name of the wrong team, because when I initially wrote this, I was writing
These old Actonian sevens. That's what we got. That's what we were.
I had the wrong name down, but yeah, like I said, it was Old Actonians 4, Ibis 0. And even after last week's defeat, the squad was in great spirits. The feeling was we may have lost 13-2, which is nothing to be proud of, but there were some positives to come from the game or such a match. And to take into consideration that we played a full match at a disadvantage with 9 men and we managed to score 2 goals. That alone gave us belief that the Old Actonians were there for the taking. This week we had a bare 11, so everyone had to put in a shift, and they did. I had elected to go in goal, so therefore I was stuck between the sticks. Don't think I'll be doing that again. Liam was in his favoured position of left back. Carl Bolt and Rob Lusher were our centre backs. Carl bar 3, I said before, dropped down from the 2s, and he played as right back. Our midfield looked something like this. Christian was on the right wing. Ash and Callum were running the engine room, and Baz was on the left. I think I got that wrong because Baz was actually in the central of midfield and Callum was on the left, but they were doing some great
It ended up switching anyway.
Yeah. And up top, like I said, Justin and newbie Andrew, or aka Drew, were up front. We started off slowly, conceding the first goal within the first 5 minutes. And to be terribly honest, there was nothing anyone could do about it. The Old Actonians had started off with great intent. Their nippy centre forward, who was this little black guy, and he was just all over the place, left, right, centre. He was just, he was terrorising, I've got to say, for those first initial 5 minutes, to be honest. And he had tested Carl, that's Bolt and Buffrey, on 2 separate occasions before, but they dealt with him easily, just cornering him off on the right-hand side. But he went down that same channel on his 3rd attempt, and Carl got the ball off him. He cleared it. I think he cleared it. It went to one of their players, and he just tapped it back into the path of the black guy, who then took one touch, took another touch, looked up. He shot, and the ball just, lofted over everyone's head, over my head, and then dipped in to top left-hand corner.
Wait, that was the first goal, wasn't it?
That was the first goal.
I got to give a big shout out to Carl Bolton, who texted me this morning, was like, "Don't get downhearted, don't worry about it." But it was funny. I don't want to be throwing Carl under the bus, but it was one of them was he passed it back to me. I didn't want it and I didn't expect it. I was only in the box, just kind of covering in case the ball spilled. So I tried to clear it first time. It went straight to their man, and then got looped over you. And I'm thinking, oh crap! Because it was on them was, as I said, not to throw Carl under the bus. It was on them was that was a ball I didn't want or ask for. I didn't expect it.
So I got that wrong. It went to you actually. It didn't go to their.
I'm just accidentally throwing myself under the bus in that one, but yeah, it's one of them was I didn't expect that pass and I didn't want it. I tried to clear it first time because I didn't know what was around me, so I was thinking, nope, it's going away. I just didn't get enough on it. But sorry, I interrupted.
Well, yeah, getting back into it, things went from bad for worse 5 minutes later when the Old Actonians grabbed their second goal from a corner. The ball was hacked into the centre of the goal area, just outside the 6-yard box. There was a great scurry from quite a few of our players and their players, but an Old Actonian player managed to get his head to the ball first, and once again the ball dinked over my head. And I don't think there was anyone on the line, to be honest, but yeah, it just went into the back of the net. And that's when, for me personally, the sinking feeling started to settle in. You know, not being a goalkeeper and that, and I just felt directly responsible for both of those goals as for me personally, they were light goals. A more experienced goalkeeper would have probably been positioned in a better position than I was. However, the boys stepped up a notch and we started to find ourselves in control of the game. Justin and Andrew both came close to getting one back, and they both saw their shots sail marginally past the post.
Especially Drew's one as well.
And I think Baz even forced the goalkeeper to make a save as well. Old Actonians' grip on the game had started to calm down when we were hit by some more misfortune, because Liam actually got injured. If you like to delve into it, Lee.
Make me sound a bit like a sick note, but yeah, that ground has actually, I think it's that particular pitch has never really been favourable for me or the Ibis forwards, because it was exactly the same pitch where I think it was 2 seasons ago I limped off. I think it was last game of the season, but I limped off after a knee tweak. It was the same pitch that big shout out to Mark Furness, one of my teammates, that he got his ankle broken on as well. So that's never been that good a pitch for us. But it's one of them ones. Yeah, it was one of them ones. I put in a tackle, saw the whites of the post and at one point with a shot, and it got charged down. But it was one of them ones where I felt my knee go and I could barely run on it. So it was kind of like, oh crap. I ended up needing to swap with you, because it was like I was literally just standing in the goal, trying to move whenever I could. But it was one of them ones. Yeah, my knee was killing. I think it was the PCL, the posterior cruciate ligament, that was killing me. And it was like I was trying to run on it and put weight on it, and I just thought I just had to go down and call the ref's attention and just be like, you know what, yeah. I've got to make a sub. And being the captain, I didn't want to come off, but it would have been worse if I'd stayed on pitch hobbling around. It would have been a lot worse. But it's one of them ones. But I'll let you carry on.
Yeah, and like you said, me and you, we done a swap, and then I think Rob made a call. He made with your blessing. He made a couple of changes, and decided, as I don't have the legs, he decided to stick me right up top, not to do too much running. That wasn't that was going backwards. But no, he also pushed himself into left back. I think he drew Callum back as centre back, and then he told Baz to occupy the central midfield and Justin to drop back into left wing position, and Andrew and Christian to continue where they were playing. We played for about 5 minutes, but the half ended, and again the bad luck struck us, because now Andrew and Christian both revealed that they got knocks. Yeah. I think Christian was holding a groin injury or some sort of muscle injury just under his thigh, whereas Andrew was cramping up in both legs.
It was his calves, his calves. And Christian was actually carrying an injury before the game. I think it was one of them ones where it's the exertions of the week before when we had 9 kind of coming back to haunt us.
Yeah,
that was my fault anyway.
So once again, the team was shuffled in the second half. Back four remained the same, but now the midfield was myself at right wing, Ash and Callum in centre midfield. The centre midfield is now Justin on left wing, and Andrew and Christian were both up front. And they both were carrying injuries, but both of them still remained on the pitch. And I can personally say, both put in shifts, they should be very proud of, because, carrying injuries, they were still running the length of the pitch and putting in tackles and doing all sorts. And we managed to hold out for a further 30 minutes under such stresses and strains before Old Actonian scored their third. which was instantly followed by their fourth. We did have chances to pull some goals back when Callum went through on goal, but unfortunately hit it straight to the keeper's hands. Andrew and Christian also built on a lovely one-touch football between themselves. I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4 passes between themselves before Andrew was through on goal. And he put it past the goalkeeper, but it just, I think it bubbled off a piece of turf and just went past the post. And the gods wasn't with us. And I think at that time, Carl Bolton was shouting in there, "You don't like us," or something like that, which was quite funny.
You should have heard what Rob screamed. I think it was after the third goal or fourth goal.
I didn't catch you. What did he scream?
I can't repeat that on air.
Oh, goddamn.
It's a word we asked him about during his pitch talk meeting.
But just to finish quickly, we battled hard. Just couldn't get the goal that would have been good for the Spirits. The game ended 4-0, which I honestly do believe flattered Old Actonian. Everyone can feel proud of how they tried on Saturday, as it wasn't easy. No one should feel down, and we should all look forward to the game against West Wickham next Saturday.
Yeah, man. It's one of them ones. That's going to be a battle, That is going to be a battle, and I cannot wait for it. But one thing I do know at this particular moment is that Ash Farrell is actually unavailable for that, which is a shame because he's a real battler. I mean, I asked him, mate, how can you be tearing around for 90 minutes? He is one of the fittest players I've ever seen. But he's gonna be a big miss on Saturday. He really is going to be a big miss. But you know what? Yeah, I would like to say something. Those who drop out late or don't want to play with the fours, you can go to hell in my view, because there's a lot of people. There were some people who dropped out very late. I'm not going to call names because I'm not here to burn bridges. But the fact of the matter is, letting people down at grassroots level, you're not only doing your teammates a disservice, but you're doing the club a disservice as well. It's one of them ones. If you get asked to play for another team, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's one of them ones. It's one of them. You're being sent to help out another team in the club. But the fact of the matter is, I only want players who are going to play for me. And as I said, a big shout out to Andrew Williams, who I think enjoyed it and hopefully will become a regular. So it's one of them ones. But you know what? On a positive note, the guys who played, everyone put in a shift. Everyone really did put a shift in. And the fact is, like I've said for weeks, the fight is there. It's just a settled team that we need. And obviously I'm trying to fight our corner and keep a settled team, but a lot of the time, I mean, there's a lot of fours who are out with injury. I mean, we've got Kendall Campbell, big shout out. Kendall Campbell out with injury. Namo out with injury. Boney out with injury, who was actually goalkeeper for the twos this week. So it's one of them, he's on the way back. So we are missing a few, but I mean, Pete Snell out with injury. I think Mark Furness was unavailable this week, but he was also carrying a groin injury. Gideon's injured as well. So that's 6 regular fours players that I've just named off the top of my head who are out injured at the moment. And there's a catalogue more who weren't available this week. So it's one of them ones, man. I mean, it's difficult. The season was always going to be a challenge, and it's one of them ones. I'm not disheartened at all. It's one of them ones. I see this as a challenge, and challenges are there to be risen to. But it's one of them ones. But you know what? The G-Man brought you your match report this week. Might make that a regular thing, actually. Might make that a regular thing if the G-Man's up for it. So, you know, let's shift on because we got a couple of other teams to feature on the grassroots segment. One being Haringey Borough Women's FC. They're located in Coles Park, White Hart Lane, Tottenham, London N17 7JP. They've got a Facebook group as well. Haringey Borough Women's FC private group, but Arsenal, I'm sure. and I'm sure they will let you in. At HBWFC1 on Twitter, and their website is www.haringeywomenfc.co.uk. They train on Tuesday and Thursday evenings from 7:30 p.m. until 9:30 p.m. at Northumberland Park Community School, Truelock Road, London, N170EG, and their match days are on Sundays. Kendall Campbell usually gives us a match report, but he's actually out injured, so I think he might be back in the new year. But Stevenage Borough Ladies FC are one of the other teams that we feature on the grassroots segment. www.clubwebsite.co.uk/Stevenage BOROFC, Borough FC. They have a Facebook page, Stevenage Borough Ladies FC, and their first team is in the Eastern Region Premier for 2013-2014, and their reserves team, their seconds, are in the Eastern Region South for 2013-2014. They play on Sunday afternoons, and their home pitch is the Codecote Sports and Social Club, Berry Lane, Codecote SG48XX. Big shout out to Dave Potter, who is a manager there. You know, staying with the grassroots segment, funding boost for the women's grassroots game. From November 28th, and from www.clubwebsite.co.uk, women's and girls grassroots football has received a boost with news that the Football Association, Premier League, and Football League have joined forces to deliver a scheme aimed at increasing the number of young women playing the game. The new FA Women's and Girls program will provide new grassroots sessions for 14 to 25-year-olds via professional clubs across the country, with the investment of £2.4 million from Sport England over the next 2 years. The program, which builds on the FA's 5-year game changer strategy, which we went over back in the summer, aims to bring over 40,000 new female players into the sport through season-long coaching programs delivered by Premier League and Football League club trusts. Kelly Simmons, the FA's director of national game and women's football, said, "I think it's really important because one of the key areas of our game changer strategy is growing participation. We have a target through this partnership of 40,000 new young women playing football over the next 2 years. We've got qualified coaches in the clubs, so they get good quality coaching and have a fun experience at the same time. The FA hopes that the program will help women's football to become the second largest team sport in the country, only behind men's football, by 2018, a key objective of the 2012 Game Changer strategy," which we went over, and I think we posed that question to Miss Manisha Taylor on her Pitch Talk meets as well, so big shout out. Trust from 88 Premier League and Football League clubs will deliver the sessions through Level 2 qualified coaches, while clubs will work in tandem with county FAs, schools, colleges and universities to engage new participants. The aim of this program is to increase participation in women's and girls football, and Premier League clubs are in a unique position to do that, said Premier League Chief Executive Richard Scudamore. Not only can they attract participants through the power of the badge, but critically, they can deliver a quality coaching experience. Now, you know what, yeah? Gotta say, that is fantastic news to hear of that boost. Of that boost with the Football Association, the Premier League, and the Football League joining forces to get more women involved in football. It's about time the Premier League stepped in and helped. For me, it's about time. But a big shout out actually to G Febby, GPHEBY on Twitter, who is very much an advocate of the women's game and is petitioning to get a women's football team started at Man United. That's quite an interesting one to keep an eye on as well.